It's been a while, hasn't it? I haven't done morning coffee in a while. School, etc. Economy, world's falling apart. So I've been busy. But I'm going to go back to a subject I cannot drop, and that is the DOGE checks. Where is that $5,000 DOGE check? Have you gotten it yet? Is it in the mail? Maybe it got lost with the check in the mail that Mexico is going to pay for it. And this is what I've been talking about over and over again. I even posted yesterday about disinformation that somehow now all of a sudden magically his $500 million fortune is gone and that Floyd Mayweather is bankrupt and he's filing for bankruptcy and everything else. Turns out that's nothing but a lie. But here we are on the verge of the big, beautiful scam being passed. I mean, bill. Um, at this point, you should be informed that there are Medicaid cuts. I even posted at least one state, Delaware, is going to have about 40,000 recipients that are going to be affected by this. The number one reason people file for bankruptcy is what? Buying Rolexes? No, it is medical bills. So this is going to be a problem. It's going to shoot bankruptcies through the roof. I guarantee it, along with the terrorists and all these other disasters that are going by. Consumer confidence is down. The GDP shrank. The tariff war, supposedly that there was the extension now to July 9th. Trump said that's it. There's no more further extensions. So I would say add 2 months after that, you'll start to see the difference. And 3 months after that, you're really going to start to feel the pain. And then after that, it's just pain all the way through. We're still not out of the woodwork yet when it comes to a possible recession at the end of the year, if not for next year, unless things change magically. But a lot of people are struggling with the fact that this inconsistency with the tariffs creates problems. It creates problems for businesses. They don't know how to adjust. They don't know, should I order 10 parts of this or should I order one part of this? How are you going to know? Because tomorrow the president wakes up and he says 50% tariffs again, 100%, 2%. We don't know. I mean, he was at what? Was it at NATO where he threatened now 50% tariffs on Spain? Yeah, it was NATO because he wanted them to donate 5%. So here's where we are. And I'm still not going to let go of the dose check. I don't think I lost focus on that. Now, the dose check all over social media. And Elon Musk was pulling your strings, saying, "Oh, you're going to get your $5 Doge." Spoke to the president. President said it was a good idea. They kept saying they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They've done nothing at the end of the day. Doge turned out to be a phenomenal disaster. It didn't accomplish nothing other than destroy employee morale. You have all those cuts that took place, and guess what? Those people sued for their job. They got temporary injunctions, and they pretty much got paid to stay home throughout all this time. Now, in some cases, the courts are coming back for those, depending on what division or what department of the government is, and saying, no, you didn't fire them legally. You got to give them their job back. Well, they've been paying to stay at home. See, that's why the government, at this point, the federal government has been spending more money than compared to last year at the same time. So those checks didn't accomplish anything. And now those employees that got paid for an extended vacation, guess what? They go back to the office and they're like, well, we're 3 months behind. Being if inefficient in no way increases revenue or save costs. It's the complete opposite. If you're inefficient, then guess what? You're going to lose revenue. And so that's where we are. And so here's my question to you, because you are the same people that believe that Mexico was going to pay for a wall, and you were chanting angry, Mexico is going to pay for it. And they haven't. They haven't paid for it. See, we knew they weren't going to pay for it. They told us they weren't going to pay for it. And yet here we are. And of course, some people believe that the wall's been completed. Good luck with that. I do have 3 bridges to sell. People say I have a bridge to sell. I have 3 bridges to sell you. So now let's go a step further. The big, beautiful bill. Total disaster. It's going to cost us all more money, and it's going to put more money in the hands of the wealthy. Look up any credible source. I now have a new page where I call Tariff News, where it's just updating constantly everything that's going on. And I cite, for all the people that say, oh, CNN, the Clinton News Network, and all that other nonsense, that's fine. Skip CNN and skip Fox. Go straight to the economic groups like the Oxford Economics and groups like that just call it like it is. JP Morgan Chase, their global division is tired about talking about this. And so here we are with the big, beautiful bill. And my question is, where's your $5,000 dose check? Is it snuck into the big, beautiful bill? Let me help you out with that. It's not. You're not going to see that in that clause. You're never going to see the $5,000 check. But like I posted a long time ago, supporters of Trump be like, and then crickets were playing in the background because for whatever reason, you guys, too bad I don't have a shiny object around here. Your keys hung the shiny object and you all went for it. Just like they're eating the cats and dogs, just like he's going to lower the prices of grocery bills. Just because he says gas is 198 doesn't really mean it's 198. The price of eggs did not go down 400% or 800%, whatever else he says. It's all there. It's all documented. And so I don't know what else to say other than we knew this was going to happen, at least those who voted against him, versus those that believed he would improve the economy. How would he improve the economy? He was supposed to end the Ukraine war, what, by lunch? That hasn't happened, right? Now we're potentially in a war with Iran. How much is that going to cost us? And what are the other consequences of that when it comes to safety and everything else? We have everything that's going on with the mass deportations of ICE. That's good for the economy, getting rid of our workforce. It's not. Maybe 3 weeks ago, he said, hey, everybody in the agricultural community, hotel industry, whatever, free pass. We're not coming after you. I think it was this weekend. I think it might have been yesterday on Sunday, where he says, no, we're not going to do that. Of course, I had this brilliant idea. Why not everybody who's here undocumented just go work for the agricultural industry and get to stay? Free pass. Maybe he realized that, and now his word is back out on that as well. And so here we are, no dose check. Nobody's eating the cats and dogs. Surprisingly, we got rid of that. Shouldn't there be like an investigation into that? Apparently, there's not. That is cruelty to animals. Someone should be arrested. How many people were arrested? 0 people were arrested. What about all that fraud that they found in Social Security? How many people were arrested for that? You would think by now they caught someone. I remember arguing with this with someone on social media. He says, well, these cases take time. I go, it might take forever to get to court, but where's the arrest? Where's the perp walk? How come Cash Patel hasn't stood in front of the cameras and said, we got the guy? They didn't get the guy because Social Security is not the largest Ponzi scheme in the world. It's not a Ponzi scheme, period. But when you have a bunch of kids, 19 to 24 years old, who are doing forensic accounting works, forensic accountants are forensic accountants for a reason. I did enough divorce cases. I had to deal with enough forensic accountants to know that I cannot bring in a 19-year-old to court and say, he went through the books, judge. He's ready to testify as a forensic accountant. You know why? Because he's not a forensic accountant, because he's actually a coder. And that's who we are allowed into our system. This besides the fact that reports are now coming out that apparently, I've been saying this for months, but now it seems maybe something has trickled out regarding the sensitive data that they might have gotten. So he's got your data. That's why I've been advocating for months. Put a credit freeze just in case. Now, who's calling me? Probably creditors. Who's calling me at this time? This is what happens when you don't pay your bills, right? So pay attention. Use credible sources. You don't have to argue about CNN and MSNBC and only listen to Fox or One America or Steve Bannon. Go the opposite. Read journals. Read what's published by major corporations like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all these powerhouses, Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs. Read all that they put out regarding the economy because they just go over numbers. Okay, does certain networks have a certain political leaning? Of course they do. And do they maybe even exaggerate or twist whatever stats or whatever? Sure, let's go with sure all the way across. But you know who doesn't? The economists who work for those companies. Do you know why? Because they have to look at the number and they have to be honest with their investors and their shareholders in order to make a profit, keep them informed, and let their shareholders know how their company is going to move forward in a profit. See, it's that simple. You don't have to go and watch the news. You can just read all these journals published or all these articles and prospectives that are filed and published by these companies, which I'll close out with this. especially on LinkedIn. Every time I seem to post something about this company is increasing the cost of whatever because of tariffs, people say, oh, it looks like it's an excuse to do whatever. You know what? I don't know what to tell you. Read into tariffs. It's not that complicated. When this costs $1 more to bring it in, the company isn't going to absorb that $1. Now, everybody likes to say they should absorb it. Either those people know nothing about business and lack total common sense, because I'm sure they had a business, they would pass it on to their customer. And then their argument is, well, they got plenty of money. Oh, really? So that's the answer, to throw away and piss away money because you got plenty of it? That's also a ridiculous and stupid statement. But you know what is the reality? A business cannot absorb the loss because they have a legal obligation to their shareholders. And whoever is the front man for the company, whatever company it is, and the board of directors, when you start losing money for that company, the board of directors votes and throws you out. It's that simple. And then when they throw you out, you don't think the shareholders are going to throw you out? If you guys are absorbing costs and losing profits that then lower the value of the stock, which means that that person, that shareholder, who maybe only has 10 shares, but they have the right to vote, even if they have one share, you think those board of directors are going to be around? No, they're not. But besides that, it's very simple. They have an ethical, moral, and more importantly, a legal obligation to make money for the business. So you can't absorb the cost. I'm tired of seeing all these people on social media say, why don't they just absorb the cost? Because they can't. Why is that so difficult to understand? No business can exist by just absorbing cost. That's not the way a business runs. And even if you wanted to run your business that way, guess what? The front man has to convince the board of directors it's time we all lose some money. And then the board of directors has to go to the shareholders and say, it's all time we lose some money. It doesn't work that way in the real world. It's never going to work that way in the real world. So before you make statements like that, just take 2 seconds to think about what you're saying. And then you realize that prices are going to go up. It's going to go up on everything that has a tariff. It is that simple. Now, I got to go. I keep getting phone calls, and I got to go to my mailbox to look for my DOGE check because I think it got lost in the mail. Or maybe they're adding a clause to it at the big, beautiful bill. No, they're not. Oh, well, at least they're eating the cats and dogs? No. See, more lies, more propaganda. Now, maybe they transferred the money to my bank account? No. Enjoy your coffee because it's about to get a lot more expensive.